Okay. So essentially, tonight we are going to cover the sun in various houses. And also, we're going to little bit touch upon from the great monumental text, Parashara, the key houses from the sun, and how, and literally that will give you a tool to read your Surya chakra, that is your chart of the sun. Now, the chart of the sun is, the concept is very simple. Just like you have a rising sign and you read all the planets from the rising sign, with the sun chakra, we just place the sun as if the sun is in Lagna, and read the chart from there on. So make the sun, wherever the sun is in your chart, your Lagna, and that's how you read the sun Lagna. So, but I'm going to whiz through a little bit of the introduction about the sun and the seasons and things like that, because I think some of it I may have covered, and it's a little bit of a repetition, which can be a little bit, tedious, like solstices and all. So now, the Dvadasha Aditya, the solar month and solar year are the foundation of Vedic astrology, and the subdivisions of time are determined based on the solar motion. So we all know that everything is revolving around the sun. And so it is to do with the solar motion. There is no doubt about that. And the sun god, or the sun, or Surya, or as Parashara, the great Parashara, whose text we are using, the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, for the newcomers who are still joining, that is our key monumental text. It's like the Bible of Vedic astrology, and and he calls the sun Surya, but he has a more specific name for the sun god, which is nothing but Ravi. Now, Ravi is, it's a beautiful, Ravi is like two, if you split up the Sanskrit, it's like Ra and V. So Ra is nothing but like the sun god, and the syllable Ra is very vital in the Indian Sanskrit context, as well as Indian, the Vedic context. So now he also talks about, at the time of Pralay, the universe plunged into darkness. Pralay is nothing but destruction, and was flooded with water, when all of a sudden the sun god with his brilliant rays appeared in the universe, and he created all the planets and the 12 months. And hence the word Samvatsara, which means a year, a solar year, is completely based on the Aditya. Aditya is nothing but the form of sun god. You have to sort of, understand that in a very fundamental level. And I have tackled about the whole Adityas earlier on. So it would be well for you to go back and refer to some of the stuff. And also, a lot of the Puranas have that. And I'm going to, down the line, just in a moment, I'm going to mention about the Puran, which is like a Sanskrit mythological text, where you will get all the ideas about the sun in every house, in every sign, and what it means. Because in Vedic, they have a very specific flavor about what the sun means in each and every sign, which is Rashi, and in each and every house, which is Bhava. Okay, so let's now, another main thing about the why the sun god, how does it fit in the entire landscape of the manifestation of the devatas within the the pantheon of Vedic astrological and cosmology. And it fits in because we are based, human beings have, or in the Vedic world, there is fundamentally 33 devas, or 33 devatas, that we are meant to worship. And they give us in, and they are classified in different forms, and they give us, each of them has a very specific role. And of course, Lord Indra and Prajapati are on top of the pile. They are the creators. Lord Brahma does not create the universe, all these millions and billions of souls, and giving them form. He doesn't do all the dirty work himself. He actually, assigns it to the great Prajapati. That's and who's the keeper of the home, the symbol home. And so he assigns it, and that's how the life begins. And then we have the Vasus, we have the 12 Adityas, the sun gods, then we have the Vasus, then we have the Rudras, the Ekadashi Rudras, who are these fierce forms of Shiva, and they are absolutely, in any kind of destruction, if you are in any kind of dissolution in your life, any part of your life which is like disintegrating, you have to appeal to the Rudra. That is absolutely like, the Vedic tradition I come from. That is absolutely the basics of it. Basics in the sense like that is how all our remedials are based on. So hence the importance of all the 33. So the whole pantheon is formed by the comes boils down to the 33 devatas, out of which the 12 Adityas, or the sun gods, will give you all the abundance and wealth you need. So the sun is literally the keeper of wealth. And of course it is, because think about it, when the sun rises, we go to work. I mean, barring some people who work in the night, maybe some kind of security people, or who are on a night shift, practically everybody on the planet works according to their zones. Whenever there is sunrise, they begin their work. So that means the sun. And when we say work, why are we working? In order to be able to feed ourselves, which is nothing but moon. It's like sustenance, which is the moon. So the sun literally will give you the resources, will give you the wealth, will generate all the things that you want in your life in order for you to be sustained on this planet. So that is why the Adityas, or the sun, the 12 sun gods, are extremely important, and it is very, very important to study them in depth, and I would not take them lightly at all. Now again, I don't want to delve too much into this, because I have created I have already done this about why devatas, so we will speed along. Now the 12, this is straight from the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, Rashi Namine. Now, all this you can read again. It's a little bit of a repetition, that why, what does the Rashi mean? Because when we talk about the sun, we talk about the sun signs. When we talk about the sun signs, we are talking of the Rashis. Rashis is nothing but each of the signs in the zodiac. So that Rashi, what does the word Rashi mean? It literally means like a quantity of something, like measured, a heap or a mass of things where you group together in multitudes, whether it's animals or whether it's an eclectic or degrees or whatever. That is literally what it means in Sanskrit. And so they are, the 360 ecliptic is divided into 30 degrees, and hence that's how we get the 12 signs. And why 30 degrees? It's kind of, because it's normal, yeah, because the sun and moon conjoin roughly every 29 days or so. The sun moves approximately a degree a day, and 30 degrees, sorry, 30 days the sun would have moved ahead by 30 degrees. And between those two conjunctions of the sun and the moon, is what is called the Rashi, and that is what gives us all the 12 signs. So it's pretty basic, quite straightforward. Now, this is very interesting, that the number of days equal are different in the solar year compared to the lunar, compared to the sidereal zodiac lunar year, sorry, solar year is a little bit different compared to the tropical year. There's a marginal difference, okay? Read about it. I would love to hear what you have to think and come up with the figures. So there is some difference. Now, again, we will touch upon this extra month, which is a Vedic concept, when we come to the moon thing, because we also have the lunar months. So we will come to that. But I have just put it just for you to be aware that there is a discrepancy, because the moon is not exactly 30 degrees, is goes in 30 days. It's like 29.53, blah blah blah. So there is a little bit of a discrepancy of a few days, and that every 4 years we get an extra month, because when you add up all the days, that's called the Adhik Masa. And anyway, there are many connotations, but I just thought that this was important to flag it up. um, so let's continue. Now, here we are all familiar with solstices, little bit of astronomy, very simple, very basic. The June solstices, summertime, it heralds the summertime, June 21st. The sun is super bright, obviously, it's the summer. And it is on the higher point in the sky. If you see, it's like at the zenith, compared to in the winter, which is starts from 22nd December, which is on a lower point. The sun is at a much lower point. And that's how we get the winter, the seasons and things like that. So this is a very important concept here. So literally the sun is not just giving us the signs, but the signs are based around also the seasons are also being given by the sun. So so these are all very vital concepts. Now, the I'm introducing here the basic Sanskrit here. Ahoratra. Ahoratra, if you see the word, if you split it up, aho and ratra, and take the ho and ra, it means nothing but hora, and that is nothing but time, the quality of time. And Ra, of course, is the sun. Even in the Egyptian astrology, Ra is to do with the sun, and indicating the twofold divisions of the day into equal halves of light and darkness. And this division of the zodiac, as you can see here, there is a division of the light and the dark. Now, this is called the Hora Chakra. That means from Leo to Aquarius, where the Aquarius begins, is ruled by the sun. Now, this I'm going to differentiate, because there are two kind of chakras going on here. This is the Hora Chakra. And from Aquarius to Cancer, which is like right at the end of Cancer and beginning of Leo, is ruled by the moon. So those signs are ruled by the moon. And so that is called the Ahoratra Chakra. So that is the Hora Chakra, literally. And then we come to another chakra, which is based around the sun, because the sun is the overseer of this, which is nothing but to do with our solstices, which is like from 0 degrees of Cancer to 0 degrees of Capricorn, which is the Uttarayan, which is the sun's sojourn from 0 degrees of Capricorn, and it ends in 0 degrees of Cancer. So all the signs falling in that are very, very strong. If you have sun in those that part of the zodiac, super strong. While the other part of the zodiac, which is from 0 degrees Cancer, then the sun begins its southward direction towards the northern direction. So it's called the Dakshinayana. And Ayana means the phase, the phase. And Dakshin literally means south in Sanskrit. So that is the southern direction. And in from the Vedic perspective, it is very interesting, because they both of these are completely different, and they are very, very specific. In Uttarayan, that is when the sun is, when we've just about to, the sun has crossed gone into 0 degrees Capricorn, days are bigger and bigger, it's getting brighter, and then the chill is coming down a little bit, the nights are getting shorter and shorter. And so the sun has started its descent into like big, towards Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries. So it's covering this half of the zodiac. So if you're born here, there's a lot of creativity involved, a lot of energy. There's like go, there's a lot of like, karmically it is a very sort of because these all have, which phase you are born on has very deep karmic connotations. It means that there's like, you have this energy to create. There's, because sun is associated with your soul and all the creative energy. Remember, it rules the abundance. It is our soul. So, and so anything falling from, if you're born around from this half of the zodiac, then of course there's a lot of creativity. You have to go. But when the sun comes in Cancer, all the way till the winter in the 0 degrees of Capricorn, then the sun has started its southward, its Dakshina Ayana. And that means you are ruled by the Pitris. That means you are ruled by the lineages. You are ruled by your forefathers and the lineages. You have in the Vedic culture, we have a lot of like Pitri Rin. Pitri Rin is nothing. If you see, Pitris is our forefathers and the lineages of our forefathers, and Rin means death. So people who are born in this part of the zodiac have a very definitive, Rin to pay, or debt to pay to their forefathers. And so any ceremony, like if you have like, grandmothers or grandparents passing away, it is a very good time to do shraddha. Shraddha is, this is a time where you kind of let the soul pass away in peace. There are these like rituals you do, there are these mantras that you do, which are very, very beneficial, because the Vedic believe that you cannot have the souls of the forefathers kind of hovering around. They need peace. Otherwise, you will not be at peace. And that is why it is very important that people who are born here in this part of the zodiac are meant to do, because they have a clear Pitri Rin towards the forefathers. So it's very important to do that. Anyway, and also this days get shorter. It's fall, and then we come into winter, rainy season, fall, winter. So we will see about that. Okay, now here is the Vedic, how we have classified the months, each of the seasons. As you can see, if everybody can see, Varsha, never, I have also put the English names here, so for ease of understanding. Each season has a lord, and each of these lords also have, sorry, each of the seasons also obviously have the sun signs covered, and those sun signs also, the lords are over here. So what is important is that each of these seasons have a lord here, and later on, as you progress through your work and through your learning of Vedic astrology, you will find that each of these have a very definitive meaning. Why would Lord of Season, what's the big deal about Lord of Season? It carries a lot of importance, lot of remedies. For example, lot of the remedies when it comes in, if you want to strengthen the moon, the rainy season is a very, very good time to do certain kind of rituals and certain kind of mantras or sound chants of the moon ream, or things like that, for the moon, and that will be very, very beneficial. And the same thing is about winters. If you have an afflicted Saturn, a bad Saturn transit, when the cold season comes, lot of the donations you can do for, like winter clothing, old stuff, to the needy and all that, and that will go a long way. These are very definitive remedies we do, and that's why the lord of the season is very, very important. Now, another point, Grishma, which is summer season, is ruled by Mars and Sun. Now, that is obvious, right? Now, that is also the reason why, astrology, all of that is ruled by Mars and Sun, because it's the Agni Tattva. Agni is like fire. And that's why often you will find a lot of astrologers squabbling within the community over things. And, why? Because it's ruled by Mars. Astrology, Jyotish, everything is falling under its rule by Mars, and it's summer season where everything is boiling and hot, and that is why the Agni and the heat is very, very high, and that is the reason why, that often the Jyotishis and the astrological communities, or anything that is ruled by fire or strong, where you need strong Agni, is there's almost always going to be a big fight. Okay, so now, coming back, so I presume a lot of you have gone through the names. I don't want to go through it again, the names of the what Parashara has used. So please feel free to go through the previous slides, but this is just a little recap. Okay, again, more names from the Jatak Parijata. This is another monumental text after Parashara, and I would strongly encourage you at least to download the PDF, if you don't want to purchase the actual book or the copy, but maybe later on you may be tempted to. But anyway, these are some of the names which is very good to know, and each of these names have a definitive meaning. Anyway, again, but these are the common names that we use, absolutely. So, and I would strongly encourage you to use these names. Now we come to the again, we've gone through, our interest today is the 12 Adityas, which is the sun gods. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the entire pantheon of devatas are 33, but our main focus tonight is about the Adityas. Now, let's go again. This is the different names, the seasons, because remember, the sun rules all the seasons, and all of these are the Vedic names for each of um, uh, the seasons, and each of these, and these names of are the lunar months, and they are based on the nakshatras. Okay, the nakshatras, why? Because often you will find that, the new moon or the full moon, the names, it falls in a certain sign and a nakshatra, so that is what they are associated with. So you see, the Indian Vedic astrology is very much sort of centered around the entire panchang, or the nakshatras is very closely linked with the astrology. Now we come to the main, one of my favorite texts, another monumental text, Saravali. So this is the third text which I'm mentioning, Saravali, Kalyan Varma's Saravali, which is absolutely monumental work. I think it's 2 or 3 volumes. So feel free. Again, there is lots of downloads, PDF in English that you can download and read through. Now here, the Kal Purusha means nothing but the normal, the zodiac, the soul of the zodiac. And that is, the sun is indeed the soul of the zodiac. And he has curly hair, sharp mind, prominent appearance, majestic voice, not very tall. His eyes are honey colored. He's courageous, steady, complexion, steady, and of a complexion which has a mix of red and green. His feet are not conspicuous. This is very important. All Vedic Purans follow, if you read the Agni Puran or any of the Puran, they always mention that the sun's feet are always hidden, which is very interesting, because the focus here is on his light and his effulgence. He's bilious in temperament and has sturdy bones. He is great and majestic. He has fiery rays, square body, and wears saffron colored apparels. So obviously, and he is always driven by the seven horses. Now, these seven horses translates into the 7 days of the week. It also translates into the seven chandas. And again, the chandas is nothing but the Sanskrit uh, verses, meters, which I think we will touch upon at a later time. But this is important that each of these seven, and all the Vedic literature is written literally by in the form of chandas or different meters. And that's why the sun god is depicted in a very specific manner in Vedic etymology. Now, here, these are the little mantras which is to do with each of the 12 zodiac signs. Okay, I have covered this and I will, as we go along, I will cover it, but you will want to remember these. And they are very, very simple because each of these home green, that is the main mantra. And Mitra Aditya, literally Mitra and Aryaman, Dhata, and Varuna, which is to do with Cancer, the Aditya for Cancer. So these are all very specific Adityas for each of the Rashis and each of the signs. And they are very hallowed, very sacrosanct mantras and very powerful. Do not take them lightly. They are extremely effective when done in the morning, extremely powerful if you match it to your own zodiac sign. Now, the main focus here, when we look at the sun chakra, okay, if you take the sun as and let's make the sun as your lagna, wherever your sun is, you will find that houses which are shadow houses, which are the second house and the 12th house and the sixth house and the eighth house, are not positive houses for the sun. And I will come to that later. But first, wherever the sun is, it is your soul, it's your Indra, it's your absolutely, that is how you are. Deep down, that's your soul. Fourth from the sun is Abhijit. If you go back to my, it's Abhijit is nothing but the victorious one. So if you go back to, my previous talks, if you see, then when the sun is rising and at midday, the sun is the strongest. So there is a swap that happens that the sun goes in the fourth house, and that's why fourth from the sun becomes extremely powerful. Extremely, that house. So let's say you have sun in Virgo, okay? So if you count 4 houses from Virgo, that sign is extremely powerful, okay? So Sagittarius becomes absolutely the keeper of your wealth. The Lord of Sagittarius, which is Jupiter, is going to give you all the abundance, all the what's the word? Everything. It'll give you the focus. It will give you the wealth, the real wealth. So that's a very key and a pertinent house for you, fourth from the sun. And what that Lord is doing, and ideally, you don't want that Lord to be combust. You want that Lord to be very powerful, you know. You want that Lord to be in a good position. So, anyway, let's see. Now, the other house, which is absolutely powerful, is the seventh house from the sun. Now, you may well ask, but it's the setting sun. But that is where the Shiva is. That is where that's your natural seventh house, you know. and that is where it is key house for relationship. That's why in our Vedic tradition we often say, don't look at almost always marriage from the seventh house. Look what is happening seventh from the sun. It may give you a lot of the abundance and good partnerships, because it's called the achadana of the sun. Achadana means like it's very auspicious.
It's good time to clean up your table better.
Hi guys, can you please?
Is this mine? No. Yeah, on my. Yeah.
Sorry, can you uh let me just, can you mute yourselves, everyone? Okay. So is any questions so far? No? Okay. So like I said, the seventh from the sun is going to be extremely powerful. Very, it's called the Achadana, as I said. And Achadana means that, this is where the Damru of Lord Shiva is. Lord Shiva is in meditation here in the seventh. He will support you. It's like the setting of the sun, but it's extremely powerful seventh house from the sun. And it will be literally, whatever you want to ask. If you want to make, kind of, um, uh, make something good, then you seek the Lord of the seventh house from the sun and activate that and make that very auspicious and make it work for you. And especially for people who have sun and moon together, seventh from there, if they do the mantra of that planet, that's going to be very auspicious for them, extremely auspicious, because the sun casts a very positive drishti or an aspect to the seventh house. So don't take these lightly. This is a very kind of very sacred place, seventh from the sun, and you want to reap the benefits of it. Then we come from the second or the 12th. The second house is, you see, if you have the moon in the second house, ideally you don't want too many malefics around here, because it is the chaya bhava. Chaya bhava means shadow houses. It's like the sun doesn't see them. He's too effulgent, he's too bright. you know I spoke about this thing where Sun's wife Sanjana, who is the epitome of all knowledge, found it overbearable, absolutely overbearable, unbearable, that she could not tackle the effulgence and the brightness of the sun, because she was too close to the sun. So any planet that is very close to the sun is going to get combusted. So if it's in the second house, the sun cannot give its complete light to it. If it is from the fourth, yeah, superb. If it is in the sixth, well, it's going to be quite weak there. And if it is in the eighth from the sun, then you have real karma there. Lot of debts collecting going on there. The sun will ensure that you pay your debt if you have a planet eighth from the sun. And if you have 12 from the sun, you'll have to give it up. You'll have to just let go of that at some point. And I'm not saying it's like it has to be ongoing, but you will have to kind of let go. So is everybody clear on that? And the 10th from the sun is one of the worst things. It's total darkness. It's not bright at all. While the fourth from the sun is where all the light of the sun is shining, complete lit up. That's why the Lord of the fourth, or the planets in the fourth from the sun, will give you very positive results, extremely positive. Now, let's see a little yogas of the sun. Let's say you have planets 12th from the sun. This is from Brihad Parashara Hora Shastra, And there are three kinds of yogas that are happening: Veshi, Voshi, and Abhyachari yogas. So it's saying barring Chandra, if a graha among Mangal, etc., be in the second, so that means we are not taking into account the moon, because, and it's obvious, because the moon in the second house is a weak moon. Ideally, you want the moon in the seventh, or the moon in the sixth, or the, or yeah, you want the moon in the sixth, or you want the moon in the third. You want the moon in the ninth from the sun. That's going to be superb, very supportive. But if the moon is too close to the sun, there's not enough light. That means you are born close to the Amavasya, about to go into new moon, or no moon. So the sun will overshadow the moon. Now, if the second from sun is Veshi yoga is formed, provided it's a benefic. And if it is 12th from the sun, it is Voshi yoga, provided it is a benefic. And if you have planets both in here and here, second and 12th from sun, there are specific yoga called Ubachari yoga is formed. And what is the meaning of Veshi yoga? He will be even sighted, truthful, long bodied, indolent, happy, endowed with negligible wealth. Well, you may well say that, well, what's good is that? But that is the signification of it. He will be truthful. It is very fortunate to have it, because it's like a karma, like it's going to give you something in the future. While the 12th house, if you have, which is nothing but Voshi yoga, you will be skillful. That means it is something you have already done in a past lifetime, or sometime it's a skill that you're bringing from past, because often the 12th houses of the past, you will be skillful, charitable, endowed with fame, learning, and strength. So these are the qualities that you will have. And if you have planets in both, especially if they are benefics, then you will be a king or equal to a king and be happy. So these are some of the positive yogas from the sun. But this is very different to these placements that I'm talking about, which are specifically to activate the sun. Okay, so these placements are very positive, or when it is close to the sun, when it is fourth from the sun, when it is seventh from the sun, it is absolutely fantastic. Now let's have a look at the chart of Rabindranath Tagore. He was you can unmute yourselves. Hi, guys.
Yep. Hello.
Hello.
I've
Hi.
got just a quick question.
Yes, carry on.
What's the difference between the first two, when the second and the 12th is bad, and the second one when the second and the 12th is positive? If you have like planets in these houses.
Sorry, I don't quite understand. Sorry. How do you mean? Sorry.
You said that it's different. It's different. The second, 6, 8, and 12 from the sun. You said it's not a positive thing, but afterwards you said that if you have a planet in the second and 12 of the sun, it's positive. So I was just wondering, what's the difference?
Yeah. Okay. The difference is that this is a definitive. This is by and large. Okay. Ideally, you don't want, because the planets here, they have very specific meaning when they land up here. Okay, that is happens in the yogas. That's what we are talking about, the yogas. Okay, yogas are nothing but combinations. Okay,
all right.
And but generally, by and large, the rule is that you don't want planets, because you see, second from the sun or 12th from the sun, it's like these are shadow houses. Okay,
yeah, I
and
get
that's
that.
why, because the sun cannot give its full force there. It's kind of, it doesn't see it. Think imagine the sun. You cannot, the light of it is so effulgent that it cannot see right next door to who's next door to himself. It's impossible, you see. So
Yeah.
the planets are not going to get, so that's why moon very close to these space placements is not very welcome there, unless you have a certain specific yoga. But we will come to that again in my Saturday class for Aries lagnas and for Scorpio lagnas. If you have sun moon conjunction, it's a huge Raj Yoga. Okay,
Yeah.
very powerful. But that is a separate, there are multi layers to it. Vedic astrology is fairly, I'm not saying it's complex, I'm not saying it's complicated, but it's complex. There's a skill, and there's a sort of, you have to know a wide variety of principles before making an assessment.
Yeah. I get that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, so let's figure out Rabindranath Tagore. He gave India the national anthem. Yeah. Anybody are familiar with him?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Amazing poet. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, tell me, what's his lagna?
Lagna
Pisces.
Pisces.
Yes. And where is now, remember, if we are talking about these yogas, then we can't really consider the moon, because he's saying barring Chandra. If you see
Mm-mm.
here, he's saying barring Chandra. I would not even count Rahu there. I mean, you're stretching it really, Rahu and Ketu, a little bit of a stretch there. But hey, there is, it's kind of a gray territory there, okay? But let's stick with the body planets, okay? The 7 weekday body planets. So there, moon here is not counted, with the exception of moon. So if you think about it, he doesn't really have this Veshi or a Voshi yoga, but yet he had so much abundance going on in terms of the literature and all the things he left behind. Of course, if you see, there is something else I would like you to see based on the principle that I gave you here. The fourth from the moon and the seventh from the moon. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Fourth from the sun and seventh from the sun.
Mm.
Can you see? Give me something.
It's got
Saturn.
Jupiter.
Jupiter is on the
It's got exalted Jupiter. It's
Exo-
from.
yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. So that's beautiful. And that is also his Lagna Lord. That is exalted. Exalted Lagna Lord means very high ideals in life, extremely powerful. You're not going to stoop down to, kind of pettiness and things like that. You're going to have a very beautiful and a very sort of like, you have the powers of Vishnu. Vishnu is on your side because it's exaltation. Any planet in exaltation carries the energy of Lord Vishnu, because there's an inbuilt a sense of abundance there. And it is also forth from an exalted sun. That's
Oh,
absolutely
yep. It's
stellar.
exalted sun.
Yes, can you
Yeah.
see that? An absolutely exalted sun. And the placement of Venus is, the seventh lord is with the sun. So you see, that is how one needs to read the chart from the sun. Then we look at the dispositor of the sun. Can we see the dispositor of the sun?
Yeah, in
Yeah,
the third
Mars.
house.
Yes, Mars. Sorry, what's that?
Mars in the third house.
Yes, but can we see some? Can somebody throw more light on it, please?
Let me see what is Mars.
It's with Ketu. I think it's quite positive when it's with Ketu.
No, well, no,
Mm.
Mars with Ketu is not positive at
Oh,
all.
not
No.
positive. All right, so it was the other way
No.
around. Sorry.
But tell me more. Come on, guys. You're missing a
Hmm.
very vital clue here.
So one is with Jupiter and Moon, and the other one is with Mercury as well as Mars.
Sorry, what? Sorry?
So there's
No.
an exchange happening as well as with Jupiter and Moon.
Yes. You're talking of the Parivartana, right?
Yep.
Mars, Mercury, and Moon and Jupiter, of course.
Oh, right,
That is
yes.
Can you see the Parivartana, guys?
Yes.
Can you see the Parivartana here? Can you
Mm-mm.
see here? And Mars and Mercury here. There is a huge Parivartana.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
That is brilliant.
Mars, Mercury, yeah.
Absolutely. So that is amazing. That is absolutely, very, very auspicious Parivartana. Remember, Parivartana or mutual exchange is one of the highest things. It was one of the first things to manifest. And that's why at a very young age, he became a poet and a writer. Amazingly, he was one of the first ones to win the Nobel Prize in Literature, first non European. And this was back in 1913, So, do you see how powerful fourth from the sun is and how powerful all of it is? And the disposit, and we always look at, so for example, if his sun would have been in Libra, it wouldn't have been because Libra is the sun is debilitated. Here
Yeah,
the
it's
sun is
exalted.
exalted. But
Exalted, yeah.
but you also need a powerful Mars, because sun it gets exalted in Aries, but you need a powerful Mars as well, and here it is extremely powerful. Yeah, because it's in a
Yes.
Parivartana.
Vartana with Mercury.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So now we come to a little bit about sun in each of the houses, the 12 houses, okay, because they are very, very specific in their um, signification. And I have picked up a lot of stuff from Samba Puran. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Samba Puran, Lord Krishna's son was called Samba, right? Now, this is, I'm giving you a very fundamental, and I would recommend you can download the PDF of Samba Puran in English. It's going to absolutely blow your mind because there is a wealth of knowledge going on in there about the mantras, about the stories, about the everything about the sun. And you would say, why the sun? Because the story goes like this. Lord Krishna's son, Samba, was very beautiful. He was like a very young, absolutely gorgeous looking son. When he was a teenager, everybody, all the maidens would be running after him, and he was a very, absolutely handsome, boy. And he was a little bit naughty too. So what he did was, in a lot of the gardens and things like that, he was roaming. When the rishis came to see Lord Krishna, he dressed up as a pregnant woman, like a beautiful pregnant woman, right? With he stuck like a little, maybe like a big gourd in his stomach, around his stomach, and he dressed up as a woman, and he paraded in front of the rishis, and he said, can you guess how many months pregnant am I? Use your astrology, use your Jyotish to predict that. And the rishis were completely, especially Durvasa, who a rishi who's known for his temper. He is known to curse people left, right, and center if he goes into a temper. And he was completely insulted. And indeed, it was insulting to test the rishis like that, which is what he was doing. He was playing a prank. And so the rishis cursed him that the entire clan of Lord Krishna will come to an end because of this. And Samba will be completely disintegrated. And Susamba was absolutely devastated after that. And slowly he got infected by leprosy because of the sage Durvasa's curse, you see. And so what did he do? He went into a sort of a tapas, a meditation to Lord Shiva, saying, how do I come out of it? I need a way out. And the way out was worshipping the sun. So that's how the birth of Samba Puran happened, the book which came to be written, because the whole of the book of Sampuran talks about remedies one can do with the sun, because the sun will cure everything, absolutely everything. The cure lies in the sun. And that's how he constructed was the Surya temple was constructed by him in Mitravana on the banks of Chandrabhaga, at which was the sun temple. And then of course there is more, the dialogue continues. The whole book is based on the dialogue between um, the king and the sage Vashishta, and so on and so forth. But literally what I'm trying to tell you is that the whole of the Samba Puran, I would recommend you to have it, because it's a beautiful, beautiful Puran. And it is a key Puran for a lot of remedies and lot of things like that, absolutely. Then here the Sam Puran talks about the sun god, the 24 names and 1,000 names of the sun god. It is also, the sun is the son of Aditi, and the Vedic experts call him the Aditya. Aditi and sage Kashyap. Kashyap stands for the sun god. He is the overseer. He is the sage who oversees and associated with the sun. So Aditi gave birth to the Adityas, and that's how the energy of the sun began to flow, and that's how we get the Gayatri mantra, whose deity is Savitur. And Savitur literally means coming from, let the energy and light flow from him. And all creatures bore from him and dissolve in dissolve in him. And that's why it is said that if you chant the Gayatri mantra, you'll be healthy. Your mind will work beautifully. And it is only 2 lines. Hom tat savitur varenyam bhargo devasya dhimai dhiyo yo na prachodayat. Literally only 2 lines. So there is a great power in the Gayatri mantra, which is associated with the Savitur, which is nothing but the sun god. So anyway, so these are the different deities. Each of these Adityas are associated with the 12 signs, and they are very unique. I'm not going to go too much into the stories of it. I will encourage you at least to find your own Aditya for your own sun sign, and which house it is in, because it will take on the colors of that sign as well. And find out what it means, what its powers are, because each of these Adityas have a specific power, and these powers will lend it to you. You have it in your own being, in your own soul. Is everybody okay with that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get cracking. So if you have sun in Aries, or if you have sun in the first house, then you are under the umbrella of Dhata Aditya. Dhata Aditya is a form of Prajapati. He's the creator of different creatures. He is the overseer of our all creatures on this planet, on Bhuloka, that is on earth. He supports all the worlds, and hence he gives a lot of, so he's a creator, he's an overseer. There's a lot of creative energy associated with it if you have sun in Aries, or if you have sun in the first house. So please note, if you have sun in the first house, So literally you are having two Adityas. One is your, let's say if you have sun in Cancer. So the sun in Cancer is Arun or Varuna Aditya. And also you will have the blessings of Dhata Aditya, which is also akin to the sun in Aries because it's the first house. Is everybody clear on this? Because this is a very important concept, because it's like having sun in the first house, never mind what Rashi or what sign it is. It's like having the energy of Aries, Mesha. So you're blessed by Dhata Aditya. That is your Aditya. So whoever has sun in the first house, I would want you to go look for what more you can find on your Dhata Aditya. And this is the mantra, Hom Grine Surya Aditya. That's a generic mantra. And this is a specific mantra, Hom Grine Dhata Aditya. Is everybody okay with this?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's see some of the significations of the sun in the first house. What are the effects? And this is from Saravali. It says sun in the ascendant denotes native will have less hair on the head. That is a very important principle. When we come to rectification, if especially in your D9 chart, which is your Navamsh chart, if you have sun in the Lagna of your Navamsh chart, the ninth harmonic, and if I often look at the person to rectify, does he have a lot of hair? If he's a little bit bald, he or she, then you know that the sun, if the sun is in the Lagna of Navamsh, then he has less hair, then you know it's correct. The chart is pretty correct, yeah? Be lazy in function, given to anger, will have prominent personality, be honorable, will have weak eyesight and coarse physique, be courageous, be impatient and unkind. If the ascendant is Cancer and is occupied by the sun, the native will have swollen eyes. If it be in Aries with sun therein, his sight will be weak. And in Leo, the sun makes him night blind. Maybe because the signs, certain signs are night blind, you know, certain signs are blind in the night, certain signs are blind in the day. That is a separate kind of thing we will have to do. But yeah, so those are some of the things. One suffers poverty and loss of children if the sun occupies Libra. So, for example, if you're Libra Lagna and if you have sun in Libra, then there may be chance that at some point you may feel a little bit poor, and you may suffer at some point from loss of children. And I'm not saying we have to see other indications, so please don't panic, because I do know people who are Libra Lagna and Sun in Libra and who have children. Okay, so please, we have to see it on a broader spectrum. But this is some significations of these will come to pass. Is everybody okay with this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Then this is from I think another text, Jatak Bharnam. I'm quoting from two different texts. This is from Saravali and this is from Jatak Bharnam. So throughout, I will be doing this for all the 12 signs. So in Jatak Bharnam, he talks about the sun in the ascendant is thin-haired, laziness, tends to be angry, extreme temperament, amorous, disease dies, lacks the spirit of forgiveness, and is cruel. Now, these are quite extreme. Bear in mind, when the sun is in Lagna, there's a very, spiritually, you have to be very clean. And so any kind of, karmically, if you have like some kind of shortcomings or some problems or anger, it's going to affect your Lagna, and it can then make you like angry, and disease dies, and lack of spirit of forgiveness, that can happen for sure. And I have seen this in a lot of people with sun on the Lagna. But hey, I'm willing to let's proceed. But I'm any comments so far? Any?
No, thank you.
Okay. Now we come to the Taurus, which is Vrishabha, and the Aditya associated with it. So if you have Sun in the second house or Sun in Taurus, it is Aryama Aditya. Aryama Aditya is shines forth with 1300 rays. Now these rays, what it means is to activate it is nothing but 1300 times. If you do a mantra of the sun, then that blessings you will have of that particular Aditya. He dwells in the air and facilitates facilitates the air within our body. No one is faster than Aryama, indicating speed. So this is a very great power of the sun in the second house or the sun in Taurus. Please note that these are all very powerful, and they again, like I said, please take some time, do this homework for me. It's going to be very productive and very auspicious for your soul to do this. If you take your sun sign, the sun sign, as well as the bhava or the house it is in, find the Aditya of that, do the mantra, and find out more about the Aditya through your research. Then it will be very, very beneficial for you. So the sun in the second, if the sun is in the second bhava, native will be endowed with servants, quadrupeds, will suffer facial diseases, will be deprived of happiness and wealth, and lose money through royal displeasure or through thieves. Okay. Will be endowed with servants and quadrupeds. Now, obviously, this means four-legged creatures, and will suffer facial diseases. Why facial? Because in the Naisargika, in the natural zodiac, Taurus is the face. The second house is to do with the face. So that's why he is talking about the face. Will be deprived of happiness and wealth and lose money through royal displeasure. Yes, at some point these significations will come to pass. Remains without wealth. This is from Jatak Bharnam. Remains without wealth, progeny, will excellent means of will be without excellent means of conveyance, jealous of virtuous people, and lives in other man's house. Well, I suppose he means in a rental accommodation, but anyway, what I'm saying is that it's interesting that if you have a second house sun, at some point these will come to manifest. Okay, let's move forward. Now we come to Gemini, Mithuna, Home Grine, Mitra Aditya. Mitra is friend, the great friend. So people with sun in the third, they have the blessings of the Mitra Aditya. Absolutely beautiful. And what is the specialty of Mitra Aditya? He is like into the welfare of the entire universe. He performed the sacrifice by eating through his eyes the air. It is from here that he blesses his devotees with different kinds of boons. Here, the exalted place of sun god, which was later built by Samba. Now, here, let me clarify the exalted place of sun. If you do the nakshatra, this is a little bit of an advanced concept I'm giving you. When the sun is in Aries at the deep exaltation point, okay, it when you look at the Navamsh chart, that is the harmonic chart, it maps to the sign of Gemini, because the sun's exaltation point is in Ashwini Nakshatra, which falls in Aries, and it maps into the Gemini sign. And so whenever sun is in Gemini, it behaves in a very kingly, exalted fashion. So there is a lot of similarity with sun in Gemini and sun in Aries. But anyway, that's a slightly advanced concept, but I had to explain because Here it is a specific one. So I would encourage you, if you have sun in the third, to find out more about Mitra Aditya. Should the sun be in the third, native will be valorous, strong, lose co-bonds, will be dear to people, good looking, very learned, will conquer his enemies. Jatak Bharnam says the native is sweet spoken, rich, has conveyances, gets joy in various, in doing virtuous deeds, has servants, few brothers, and according to Parashara, it will destroy the elder siblings or brothers specifically. He is valiant, rich, sattvic. That means he's got a very harmonious, deep down temperament. Hard penance, is an ascetic, exceptionally enthusiastic in doing things. So the placement of the sun by all three are extremely positive. This is the first positive indication of the sun in the third. The sun in the third is also a very, they always have to fight for something, because remember, in the natural zodiac, the third house is the Karaka is Mars. So the energy, it has that energy of its Karaka, Mars, very martial. So this is a very positive placement for the sun, and you will have the blessings of Mitra Aditya. Okay. Now, everybody, let's quickly do this chart. We have like quite a few more signs to go. Okay. Should the sun be in the third, the native will be valorous, strong. Again, this is Neil Armstrong. Everybody familiar with him? The
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah. How interesting that his sun is in. Can somebody tell me?
Third house.
Yes, but
Okay.
in what
Yeah.
sign?
In Cancer. Yeah.
Yes, and that is triggered by the moon, right? Very, very strong.
Mm.
Yeah. So you see, he did, I don't know if he lost Coburn. It'll be interesting. But he did conquer. I mean, he was the first man to walk around on the moon. So yeah, so there is a certain kind of, kind of auspiciousness, associated with him. He's definitely very, what's the word? Brave to be able to go through, be the first one to go on the moon. So yeah, so those some of the interesting, I would want you guys to study more of examples of the sun in the third. Anyway, let's move to the fourth. That is, you have the blessings of Varun Aditya. Varun Aditya is associated with water, is responsible for the life of the whole world, oceans, and anything to do with the oceans. And the abode of Varuna, they grant the wishes which can be fulfilled and all desires. So if you have sun in the fourth, you have blessings of home, Grine, Varun, Aditya. But remember, these are not automatic, okay? You have to you have to do the work. And also, if you have sun in Cancer or sun in the fourth house, that you have the blessings of Varun Aditya. Should the sun be in the fourth, the native will be devoid of conveyances and relatives, suffer heart diseases, destroy paternal house and wealth, will serve a bad king. From Jatak Bharnam, devoid of happiness, conveyance, wealth, paternal property, wealth is destroyed, squandered, change of residence many times. Now, why are they all saying that? You would think that the sun in the fourth, it's angular, is fantastic. But the trouble is the sun. Remember last time, two sessions ago, I said strength of planets. When the sun is in its absolute strength in the 10th house, it's in Digbal, it's in absolute. You have the blessings of Indra in the 10th house, the Dikpal Devta. So if it is in the sign opposite to where it is in its planetary strength and absolute joy, it's going to be devastated. So the sun is not welcome in the fourth house at all. At
No.
all. Because you see, the sun is a big fireball. It's Agni. It's great heat generating. And you throw it in a delicate house like the fourth house, which is water. Can you imagine what results it will be? It'll be like the steam. You'll be constantly like on a like a gas steam. Is everybody, can everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, let's move
I'm sorry,
forward.
I have a question. I
Yes,
have a
go
short
on.
question. Yes, let's take that Neil Armstrong's example. So, which Aditya do we actually choose for him if his sun is in the third house and also his sun is in Cancer?
Well, his it's a combination,
Yeah,
because the
sure.
sun, it'll be always be a combination, because remember what I said, that the sun in the third house is akin to sun in Gemini, or the you have the blessings of the Mitra Aditya, which is very very auspicious. Yeah.
Yes, right.
So you will have that, but you also, you cannot ignore that the sun is in Cancer, so it is also Varun Aditya. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, I see.
So you
It
will
should be
have
combined.
blessings, you indeed will have blessings of both, but in his case it probably was a combination, because he did suffer. He was quite depressed after he came back from the moon.
Mhm.
If I don't know if somebody is familiar with his story, so
Okay, I see. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Okay, let's move forward. We don't have much time because the lodge is about to begin at 7:15, but let's move ahead. Home Grine Indraditya, sun in the fifth. Fantastic. He's the ruler of the gods. He's the son of Aditi. He's established in the form of Devraja. He's shining forth with 1200 rays, and he has mastery over serpents, gods, and demons. So Indra is a god of the gods, of all the devatas. So of course he's like effulgent, it's absolutely superb. There's an inbuilt intelligence in the sun in the fifth house. Absolutely, these people have very strong intelligence. Okay, it's like having sun in Leo, because the fifth house carries the house of the energies of Leo. Okay, so the sun in fifth house by Saravali says the native will be benefit of happiness, sons, and wealth, will live by husbandry, will move in hills and fortresses, be fickle minded, scholarly, devoid of strength, and be short lived. Now, this again, you have to take it short lived. You cannot base it on a single thing. Okay. So please, but this is a general focus here. But some of these, my guru has this combination of sun in the fifth house. He indeed lives in, moves in hills and fortresses. He loves all our classes, everything are held in the Himalayas, has always been held in the Himalayas. So he loves his Himalayas, and he absolutely, we all thrive when we go up in the mountains at mountain resorts to live. We live there for a month, studying non-stop and doing mantra chants and yoga practices all the time. So you see, so that's definitely, there is a flavor of that. Okay. And so you see, some of these significations do matter. And native is a devotee of Parvati and Lord Shiva, and he absolutely is a devotee of Lord Shiva. He always says Har Har Mahadev, Har Har Mahadev, which is nothing but name of Shiva. And Mahadev meaning it's another name of Shiva, but in the form of the moon god, that's why the Parvati is involved. So that is one of his favorite mantras. He will often say that Har Har Mahadev. So again, so that is clear that he is a devotee of Lord Shiva and Parvati. Devoid of wealth, fear of wife getting abortion, doer of inauspicious deeds, and an erring mind. So these also will be present for somebody with sun in the fifth house. There is an element of that. This is from Jataka Bharnam. Now, let's see. Vivian Eastwood. Do people know about her?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, and a great, what's the a British designer. Again, Sun in the fifth, but this very great intelligence. It's with Ketu. Sun and Ketu is a great devotee of Shiva, and they have blessings, beautiful blessings, and an exalted Venus together. So, of course, she's artistic. It's all about her art and creativity, and her design and lines and things like that. So you see, there's a very great intelligence, creative intelligence at work with Sun in the fifth house with an exalted Venus. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Um, so let's move forward. Virgo, home Grine Vivishswan Aditya. Vivishswan is associated with the sixth house Aditya, and the root is Vasa. Vivishswan is all about shining from Vasa, that is from an vessel. And he dwells in the fire and is responsible for digestive fire. We all need to digest the food of any kind, whether it's of knowledge or anything. We need that Agni, the fire, and that is what the Vivishswan rules, the fire. If the sun is in the sixth, the native will be very libidinous, will be powerful digestive fire, capable of digesting quickly and fast, strong, affluent, famous for virtues, be either a king or an army chief. That is beautiful. That's a bit like the sun in the third house, because the Karaka again is Mars. You see how the Agni Tattva looks out for itself. According to Jataka Bharnam, native remains happy, killer of his enemy, because the sixth house is house of enemies, Shadripu. So you will kill the enemies, and there are no enemies outside, they're all within you. So you will land up killing all of them and getting rid of all your internal, negativities. Has a conveyance of high level, is costly, mighty, valiant, and minister to the king, and strong digestive fire, superb, great qualities. So if you have sun in the sixth, you have the blessings of Vivishwan Aditya. Okay, the Grine Pusa Aditya, that's the seventh house, Pusha, and that is to associated with Libra and the sun in Libra, seventh house sun. They give nourishment to all beings and on earth and sky and heavens, dweller of food, responsible for nourishment of creatures. If the sun is posited in seven, native will be poor, insulted, suffer bodily diseases, royal displeasures, imprisonment, take to bad ways, not be well disposed to his wife. And by Jatak Bharnam, native needs, remains without property, fearful, distressed, bad natured, distress due to fear of royal punishment. And if the sun is weak, and it's not, you are not born at the junctures of day and night, that is, if the sun is weak, you will have these significations. But if it is strong, then huge wealth will come through partnerships. Adolf Hitler is a case in point, Hello? Hello? Yes? Is there any questions? No. Okay, find examples of, I know 2 million, I think not Dhirubhai Ambani, one of India's top telecom, Dhirubhai Ambani, his sons, I think it's Mukesh Ambani, or is it Anil Ambani? One of them has got Libra Lagna and seventh house sun exalted, and I think he's got quite a few planets with the sun, and he is like the tycoon of telecom industry in India. And you see, that is not a weak sun, so he's like rolling in money. So this is a very clear case in point that not all sun in the seventh will be, will be kind of without property and all. He's got tons of properties. So you see, sun has to be quite strong if it is in the seventh. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, let's move forward. Okay, this is Parjanya Aditya. That is sun in Scorpio, akin to sun in the eighth house. If it is in the eighth house, the native will have deformed eyes, devoid of wealth, happiness, be short lived, suffer separation from his relatives, and native's eyes are, they tend to have small eyes, has diseases in the eyes, sight gets dim, number of enemies are large, wrathful, dull-witted, scarcity of wealth, has a weak body, and gives distress and adversity in old age, may have fear of bones being broken. So this is to do with the sun in the eighth house. Sun in the eighth house has a bad rep. They often will have some kind of problems with their eyes. Maybe they'll have glasses, maybe reading glasses, you know. So don't panic. It will be short lived. There are a lot of people with sun in the eighth who are long lived. It depends on what the dispositor of the sun, that is, who's the ruler, who's ruling that eighth house. Many other factors come into play. And sun in the eighth is like Parjanya, that is the thunder. He's like the rainmaker. He has the power of bringing rain after absolute, like, dryness and a dry spell. So he is transformative through his water. He purifies you through his water. So if any one of you have sun in the eighth, please research Parjanya, because you will get a lot of interesting facts from what the signification of Parjanya is and what they stand for. Occult will come under occult, and mysticism will come under this his purview. Yeah. Okay, then we come to the Aditya of Sagittarius, which is sun in the the ninth house, which shines forth with 1500 rays, and he is like the universal cosmic love. Home Grine Amshuman Aditya establishes in air and pleases all creatures. If the sun occupies the ninth, the native will be endowed with wealth, children, friends, interested in worshipping gods and Brahmins, will not be well disposed towards his father and wife, and be not calm. That means they have a turbulent temperament going on, and not be well disposed. So maybe a few problems with the father. Anyway, the ninth house is the house of the father, so there may be problems associated therein. Then engaged in rites and deeds of his religion, endowed with noble intellect, happiness through his gets happiness through his sons and friends, aversion towards maternal family, long lived, father's health is sound and virtuous, and son has been regarded auspicious for wealth and gains. So it's a very nice significations of the sun in the ninth house. Is everybody okay with this?
Yeah.
Hey, look at Mother Teresa. Can everybody see this? Sun in Leo, that's beautiful, right? She did have enormous amount of wealth, which she did keep farming from India to her home country. I don't know, but there are, I think, documents to do with that. Um, you know, but her service was spectacular, to the poor and the underprivileged. So, okay, let's move further. Warren Buffett, sun again in Leo in the ninth house. We all know his colossal wealth, right? We are familiar with,
Yeah.
yeah. So when the sun is in Leo, which planet will we look for a dispositor? Because he's at Tattva level.
Mars.
Yes. And he's got a beautiful Mars Jupiter yoga in the seventh house. So you see, and there's a whole Yama Yoga happening. So he's like a force of nature there. He's a tough, tough cookie. Anyway, we will analyze the chart later, as we go along. Let me just, we have a few more to go. Should the sun be in the 10th, the native will be extremely intelligent, rich, strong, well endowed with conveyances, relatives, sons, succeed in undertakings, valorous, unconquerable, and great. Absolutely. Because you have blessings of the Bhaga Aditya. Bhaga is your portion, your devotion, that's what the Bhaga Aditya stands for. He's all brilliant. Where is my peace? Where is my portion? Is what is Bhaga Aditya will ask. And so if you have sun in the 10th, it's like sun in Capricorn, you will have the blessings of Bhaga Aditya. And prosperous with conveyances, wealth, right kind of intellect and wisdom, happiness of having a son, get royal favors, endowed with jewels and gems. So all this is very beautiful because the sun has directional strength. It's in Digbala in the 10th house, you know. So that's of course no brainer. We all know, we all love that. Now 11th house, if the sun, let's just whiz through because the lodge is about to begin. Sorry guys, shall I stop here and then you anybody, or shall I just finish off those two?
Yeah, let's finish it up. Yeah, if it's
Okay.
possible.
Om Grine Twashta Aditya. Now, Twashta is, in the Indian context, is the great celestial architect. They are Vishwakarma. They have the gift of making great systems, whether it is, computer systems or any systems or architectural. They will be forever interested in creating things and responsible for creating all medicinal herbs, plants, concoctions, and all of that. So that is a particular blessings coming of the Twashta Aditya. They are able to create and dissolve all the worlds as well as create them. That's their power. So I would want you to come up with more stories if you have sun in the about the Twashta Aditya or Vishwakarma, if you have sun in the 11th house or in Aquarius, and they will be interested in gathering money, be strong, will hate others, be devoid of servants, be himself a servant. Oh my God. Be devoid of affection, be modest, be successful, but will be successful in undertakings and large scale gains and successes, and lover of music and singing. Let's see. Billy Joel. We all know Billy Joel, right? Can we see his chart? Where is his sun? This is his Lagna in the Gemini. Sorry, this has got cut off here. But this is Gemini Lagna, and the sun is with Mars and Rahu in the 11th house. Absolutely brilliant. What did I say earlier by Jatak Barnam? Success lover, music, sorry, miss typo here, I'm sorry, music and singing. So they will gain from there, make colossal wealth and profits from the king, financial gains on a large scale. We all know he's rolling in money. I mean, one music record after the other, absolute success. We all remember his songs, right? Uptown Girl and, you name it. So there you go. So that's brilliant. And the sun, this exalted sun, so that also adds a flavor, you see. So all that creative energy of the Bhaga Aditya, and the sun's dispositor Mars is also in Aries. Is everybody getting this? Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, there are three ways we have to look at things. You have to see what sign it is, what house it is, that Aditya, both the Adityas will bless, what the Lord is, I mean, where's the planet ruling it? So if Sun is in Aries, you have to look at what Mars is up to. If the Mars is debilitated, then it's going to be a little bit problematic in getting all that success. Okay. Home Grine Vishnu Aditya. If the sun is in the 12th house, akin to Pisces, he will have deformed physique, be one-eyed, fallen morally, will marry a barren lady, be inimical to his father, weak and mean. Weak eyesight, ideas not in agreement with father. Well, that's very clear because the sun in the 12th house is in Marana Sthana. It's in its dying position, guys, okay? If you're going to just, the sun has gone there to die. The sun doesn't do well in the 12th house. But after certain time, maybe father's passing away, you rise up a lot in life. That is one of the great dictums of sun in the 12th. You have weak eyesight, ideas not in agreement with father, bodily pain, trouble to uncles, mind is opposed to proper conduct, problems in journeys, spirit of renunciation or giving up, obviously, is the 12th house. Wrathful disposition, may suffer from kidneys issues and things like that. Okay, so um, is everybody okay with this?
Yeah.
Vishnu Aditya is one of the most beautiful Adityas. It's one of the best Adityas. The sun in the 12th is akin to that. So there is still you will have the blessings of Vishnu because he's the destroyer of all demons. He has like the Sudarshan chakra, which is like a disc which he just throws and everything just gets annihilated. So he has huge powers and he literally is one of the most amazing Adityas, the Vishnu Aditya. So if you have sun in Pisces or sun in the 12th, yes, these significations may occur, but you also have the blessings of one of the greatest Adityas, which is the Vishnu Aditya. So, that any questions then? We are
No.
done.
Yep. Thank you.
Is
Thank you.
everybody okay with this?
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
thank you
you.
very much. It's
Yeah.
really
Thank you.
Okay, so Saturday I would encourage you guys to come. It's around noon, 12:30, and yeah, let me know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how long is, more or less how long is going to be?
I think it'll be like couple of hours at
Okay.
least minimum.
All
and
right.
and anyway, even if you want to leave early, it's fine because there will be recordings. You will, anyone who attends it will get the recordings. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, today is the lodge's last day, and so feel free. There's Miliana is speaking on. I think I forget what she's speaking on, but there is Israel Jose speaking as well. Is it Israel? Hang on, sorry. Um, hang on. So